I've said it before on here about how COVID isn't that real, isn't that serious. In that, if we had handled it appropriately, we could have stopped it. Um, and lately, I've been talking about the next pandemic. I know that sounds morbid, sounds bad. This isn't clickbait. This isn't fear porn. This is a real adult conversation. It needs to be had before the next one happens. I was reading something this evening. India's mysterious diseases. This is 2019. As I did the video, the date is 2021. 164 people reported a mysterious fever. All were tested for malaria. All tested negative. Cause cannot be found, but the patient can be treated on the basis of symptoms. Then they've got there's other ones too. Now, what started me looking at that is they've got something now they're calling scrub typhus. Mysterious infection being reported. Oriental, I can't pronounce it. Chills and fever, headache, body aches. It's just, I guess, bites of infected chiggers, which are larval mites. Not gonna read all this stuff. No vaccines available, all that stuff, yada yada. It got me to thinking about how when you really sit down and you look at these new diseases breaking all over the world, you look at how the Ebola epidemic under Obama was much worse than the original strain of Ebola back in the 90s. You realize that we've gotten lucky. Even as bad as COVID has been, even going back to seeing the convoy of military vehicles in Italy taking out the bodies, we've been very lucky. And I mean that as in we haven't had an airborne major thing. SARS went away. MERS is not, it's not easy to find. That's good. I don't think those are as easily transmittable as COVID it was. SARS was killing doctors. Like SARS was killing people in the hospital. People were getting sick in the hospital. It was killing people quickly. COVID's more of a long term, long range, more mysterious disease, which is probably bad in explaining it because it's hard to explain such a nuanced, unusual disease such as COVID. Weeks go by. Some people get sick and die. Some people get sick and heal up them, on their own. And then there's this notion of being healthy, and now healthy people are getting sick, kids are getting sick, so that's just no guarantee. We've been lucky. COVID, thankfully, as well as SARS, is not something that can be weaponized. There's elements of our society that would weaponize these diseases, no doubt in my mind. They were talking about that, spraying doorknobs with it. I think we've been very lucky. I'm looking at this stuff in India. We know all the poverty, people living on top of each other, the favelas in Brazil, other areas of just very poor, disimpoverished peoples who are living in close settings. This is how a pandemic spread. And I think that, as I said before, I think that these are social issues more than just CDC, virus, pandemic stuff. These are social ills, and we should be dealing with these issues before they happen. I remember hearing about in London, they just went out there and was getting hotels and just picked all the poor people off the streets. There were no homeless people. There needs to be and we know now COVID spreads different kind of ways, myriad ways, but that the knowledge of the plague, the knowledge of England's history of epidemics and diseases, the poor people get sick first, generally, because they're closer. If you're rich, you can go and live at your summer home until the pandemic blows over. You can go and do something somewhere and just, but if you're poor, you can't do that. You gotta work. You gotta go to work tomorrow. You can't. I'm gonna take off the next 3 weeks. I'm gonna take off a month. Well, folks can't do that. It's privilege. I think that what we have faced is nothing compared to what could be coming. And I connect these things to climate change. I'm very clear about that. You're not going to have a discussion with me about infectious diseases and not mention climate change. You can't do it. I won't have it. These issues are interlinked. And these issues are these are contributing factors to the spread as well as to the overall death and mortality. And I always go back to it that it's sad. People warned us. There's all kind of speeches and documentaries of the 90s, early 2000s, people talking about a pandemic is coming, something's coming, and we did nothing. I mean, we did nothing. Ultimately, nothing was done to avert this crisis, and that's what hurts me the most. Whether it be warning us about climate change or warning us about a pandemic, and I think everybody back then thought it'd be influenza. That's what Contagion was about. Contagion was about influenza, and we had COVID, and now we've got the Delta strain. Now we're talking about the Lambda strain resistant to the vaccines. I mean, I don't know. Be careful what I say on here. I don't want it to come true, but I think COVID's going to be with us for a very long time. I don't have a positive outlook on the vaccine. I don't have a positive outlook on any of this. I feel like COVID, as well as like all the white domestic terrorism, was kind of like the beginning of a new era. Like we're in a new era now where America's like always at war. Whereas, like I said, whether it be COVID, this disease just keeps mutating and keeps becoming more and more deadly and more resistant to diseases, and being able to find people who are not vaccinated. And now it's getting young people and going into animals, and that doesn't happen. That's not supposed to happen, from what I understand. Animals getting diseases from humans and vice versa. That's not normal. I just pessimistic on this issue. Thank you for listening.